Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Manchester City and how this season's gone. I'm going to be doing an overall season review. It's not been a great season, it's not been a dreadful season. We obviously won a trophy, but we only won one, and it was Carabao Cup, which is arguably the least important out of the lot. But yeah, like I said, today I'm going to be pretty much assessing our season, going over what went wrong, going over what we did well, and pretty much grading how we did in each competition based on like a letter and a plus or a minus, so like A minus or A plus for each competition, and just overall grading how I think we did. Leave in the comments down below how you think this season has gone. Do you think it was good, average or bad? And also make sure to leave a like, subscribe and turn notifications on if you haven't already. We are pushing for that 10k mark as soon as possible, so subscribers are much appreciated. Obviously the vlogs will hopefully be coming back fairly soon, maybe a couple of months, because hopefully by then fans will slowly start being let back in stadiums. Obviously the news got announced today that Step 7 clubs are able to let fans in, which is good news. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on into today's video. So I'm going to be starting off with the Carabao Cup. Obviously the most successful competition for a lot of us this season. Obviously going to give this an A+, we won it, you can't do better than that. We got slightly lucky with the draws, which is fair enough to say. We started off by beating Preston 3-0 at Deepdale. Solid performance, not too bad. Got to see the likes of Hull, Bellis and Garcia for the first time, really. Then played a Southampton side that just lost 9-0 to Leicester. Beat them 3-1. Very, very boring game. But we got the win. It was very comfortable. We were leading 3-0 and they scored late on. We then took on League One side Oxford in another performance which, to be fair, was pretty suspect. We won 3-1. They did equalise though, which was a bit concerning. We then played Manchester rivals at Manchester United in the semi-finals. First leg was superb, 3-0 at half-time. Probably should have been 6 or 7-0 in honesty. Second half, we completely took our foot off the gas though. Let them back into the game, they made it 3-1. We lost 1-0 in the home leg, which was an atrocious performance in front of goal. The likes of David Silva deciding to pass the ball in a one-on-one situation. But we did end up going through and eventually beating Aston Villa 2-1 in the cup final. Yes, people are going to say it was an easy run as per usual, but we did beat Man United. We beat Villa in the final because Villa beat Liverpool 5-0 because they decided not to take the competition seriously. They also beat Leicester, who we could have played in the final, but again, they bottled it. So it's not our fault really when playing teams like Villa in the final if the good clubs they come up against are just going to bottle it. Anyway, that made it 3 Carabao Cups in a row. Very good. We'll see next season if we can potentially make it 4 in a row. Not sure if anyone's actually done that. I don't think anyone's made 3 in a row, to be fair. Which it's an impressive feat, and obviously it was always good to get another win down at the Etihad South. And like I said, I'm going to give it the Carabao Cup performance this year an A+, because there is no way you can slate winning a competition. Moving on into the FA Cup now. Again, we had a fairly easy run, but it was ended with disappointment with a defeat to Arsenal at Wembley. But we started off against Port Vale with a 4-1 victory. This performance was dreadful. I know I said we won 4-1, but we played Port Vale, a League 2 side with a very strong squad. They equalised against us in the first half. We missed an open goal. Second half a bit better, but still not great. We did win 4-1 though, so I'm not going to complain too much. We then played Championship side Fulham, who ended up getting promoted. Genuinely one of the worst sides I've seen at the Etihad in many, many years. An early red card, we scored, we made it 2-0 after 8 minutes. It was a very boring game from then onwards. We got 2 goals in 2 minutes in the second half, and that was about it. It was a pretty dull game, but very, very comfortable. Fifth round was an away win at Hillsborough. Again, a relatively poor performance. We did get the win though. We played a very strong side against a struggling Sheffield Wednesday team, and we did scrape it. I'm pretty confident the goal was actually offside and it shouldn't have counted, but it did, and that sent us through to the quarterfinals. But yeah, that was another relatively poor performance. Although we have scored 9 goals already by this point, it's all been pretty poor performances. We then went to St James's Park. We won 2-0. Very, very solid performance, that one. That was our first FA Cup game from the restart, and we absolutely dominated. Although we did get slightly lucky in the sense Dwight Gale missed an absolute sitter from 6 yards, and then we went to make it 2-0 seconds later. And then we eventually got knocked out in the semi-finals to Mikel Arteta's Arsenal side, which was a very, very poor performance and very, very annoying to watch. Very slow and just no chances created. Aubameyang tore us a new one twice, and they eventually went on to win the competition. In terms of giving this one a grade, I'd probably have to give it a B- because we didn't win it. The semi-finals, you can't really complain with getting to the semi-finals. It's another trip to Wembley. But on the whole, we didn't have to do a whole lot to get there. Again, we got a bit lucky with the draws. Although, like I said, you have to get a bit of luck to win certain competitions. And the reason why there wasn't so many difficult teams in there is because the teams like Liverpool tried to give these competitions up, which isn't our fault at the end of the day. I think we should have done better. I'd give it a B- because we should really have won it. We are better than Arsenal. We should be beating Arsenal. And we could have beat Chelsea as well had we got to the final. But who knows? It wasn't great, but it wasn't dreadful either. So yeah, I'll give that one a B-. Moving on to the Premier League. It's difficult to describe. We came second, which at the end of the day, after 2 title wins, you can't complain with. It's not normal to win 3 in a row. United are the only team in Premier League history to do it. It was always going to be difficult, and this Liverpool side, to be fair to them, have been very, very good, getting 99 points. Only our Centurions beat that points tally. It looked set for a while. They were going to get more than that, so it's a plus for us alone that they didn't get the 100. But as good as second place is, we should have taken Liverpool further, and I think had we done better at the start, I think Liverpool were more likely to crumble under the pressure. I think we did start to see, when they got close to that title, when they started crumbling a bit, they started losing to teams like Watford, drawing to Everton. And I feel like had we put pressure on them earlier and kept it going for a bit longer, I think they would have started to crumble later on in the season like they did last season. The season started off how it kind of ended, really. A 2-2 draw to Tottenham at the first home game of the season. A game that kind of just set us up for the season. Over 30 shots at home, and compared to their 3, and it ended 2-2. Poor finishing cost us a lot this season, as well as poor defending, which was shown in the 3-2 defeat at Norwich in match week 5. And by that point, you could already kind of start seeing the cracks were appearing. But yeah, the loss to Norwich was a big, big shock to the system. A shocking defensive performance, as I said. It just wasn't really good enough. We then went on a decent run, but then again, cracks started showing 3 games later when we lost to Wolves. And at that point, you could pretty much tell the league was gone. After Liverpool got lucky, got a late penalty against Leicester, beat them 2-1, and that puts 8 points behind after 8 games. It was something stupid like that. And from then onwards, they just started opening the gap. Bit of hope was restored after we beat Southampton 2-1 in what was a great game. They had a great atmosphere, as we all thought Villa were going to beat Liverpool. As on the scoreboard when we made it 2-1 on the 85th minute, it said that Liverpool were losing 1-0, but they went and scored 2 late goals, and then that meant that the next week when we went to Anfield, a loss pretty much meant 11 points, season over. I think the point where all City fans that officially gave up is when we ended up drawing 2-2 at St James's to a John Joe Shelby last minute equaliser. At that point, that puts 11 points behind after United had just drawn with Liverpool. And at that point, the season was over. Since then, we'd had disappointing defeats at home to United, away to United, away at Wolves, we capitulated in 2-0 lead, as well as bottling a last-minute comeback against Crystal Palace where they made it 2-2. You've also got when we lost away to Chelsea to give Liverpool the title, and a loss at Southampton. So on the whole, pretty disappointing. 9 defeats this season, something we haven't really experienced in Pep. I think it's the most defeats he's ever had in the league season as a manager, which says it all really. But yeah, on the whole, pretty disappointing league campaign. I'd give it a B+ though, because you can't fault second place. And I think on 5 occasions in Premier League history, 81 points would have been enough to win the title. But in these current circumstances, where you need pretty much 95+ points to win the league, it was never going to be enough. And on the whole, it was a pretty disappointing campaign. Finally, we move on to the Champions League. Arguably the most disappointing of the lot. This was the year that we all hoped we were going to end our Champions League. We had supposedly the easy draw, up for debate in my opinion, because we had Atalanta, who were unlucky not to end up in the semi-finals of the Champions League after they got unlucky in the last 2 minutes against PSG when they scored 2 goals. We had Shakhtar, who got to the semi-finals of the Europa League before getting dispatched by Inter Milan, but still semi-finals Europa League. That's the same stage Manchester United got to. Also, hopefully, when the Champions League draw is done this year, we will not be facing Shakhtar again, because let's face it, that's something we can all hope to avoid. And Zagreb, who obviously got knocked out in 4th place of our group. Yeah, we dealt with the group quite well. We won 5 of the 6 games. Only draw was at the San Siro away to Atalanta, and Kyle Walker ended up going goal. But on the whole, that was pretty decent. Then in the round of 16, had European Kings of Real Madrid. We pulled out one of the best performances in Manchester City history, in my opinion, winning 2-1 at the Bernabeu. Could have been more. It was a complete performance. Gabby Jesus ran the show. De Bruyne dispatched a penalty, ending our penalty curse, and everything was great. We then obviously had to wait 5 months for the return game at the Etihad, where we then won 2-1 it again. Gabby Jesus and Raheem Sterling scoring the goals, meaning we would play Lyon in the quarter-finals. A lot of people seem to write Lyon off for this game, thought it was going to be an easy win. I didn't, to be fair. I did say in my predictions it would be tough. I thought it would go to extra time. I didn't think, however, they would beat us. They did. It's a poor performance. We got it wrong on the day. Sterling missed a sitter, but like I said, I'm not going to go on too much about that. He played well on the day. But yeah, on the whole, disappointing. Had we gone out to Real Madrid, you almost feel like we'd have left it a bit better. But losing to Lyon, again, we know we all could have won. And we could be playing today against Bayern Munich. I think it did just make everyone feel a bit more down about it all. But yeah, on the whole, slightly disappointed with the Champions League campaign. I would have liked to have seen us get to at least the semi-finals. Had we lost to Bayern Munich, I'd have been like, fair enough. Bayern Munich are the best team in Europe this year, and I think they will win the Champions League. But it's still disappointing knowing it's another year without the Champions League. However, hopefully that means that the first Champions League we win will be near, and at least fans can be there for it. And in terms of the Champions League campaign, I'm probably going to give it a C+. Not sure you can give it too high. Once again, we failed at the quarter-final stages, and once again, it was to a team worse than us, significantly worse than us, a team we should have fairly comfortably beaten. Anyway, that's my season review. We've done okay on the whole. In terms of an overall season, you'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. Not bad, not good. We won a trophy, you can never complain. 10 years ago, if you offered us this season, would have absolutely taken it. But the club has moved a long way in that 10 years time period, so you can't really have the same expectations. But a trophy, if you're complaining about a trophy, it's second place, a semi-final and a quarter-final, I think you're a bit spoiled. So I'll settle for it, but next year, hopefully we can improve it a lot. Fixtures come out tomorrow. There'll be a video probably of me talking about the fixtures and how I think they'll impact us. Obviously, fans coming back later in the season could have a major impact. Things like getting Anfield early in the season could be a major, major benefit this year. So hopefully we do get lucky with that. And that's all from me today. Like I said at the start of the video, leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you haven't already. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow with another video. Goodbye.